The alarm bells rang across Luna Station, like angry metal birds. Admiral Jake Morrison jumped from his chair and ran to the main screen. His coffee cup fell to the floor and broke into pieces. He did not care about the coffee. What he saw on the screen made his heart beat fast and hard. "How many ships?" he asked the young officer at the computer. 512, sir. Maybe more. They just appeared at the edge of our solar system. The officer's hands shook as he typed on his keyboard. They came from nowhere. Our deep space sensors showed nothing. Then suddenly they were just there. Jake looked at the screen again. The alien ships looked like giant metal spears with sharp points. They were black and silver and moved in perfect lines. Each ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. The largest one was as big as a small city. "Get me President Collins on the line, now." Jake's voice was calm, but his hands were tight fists. He had been a soldier for 30 years. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth. But this was different. This was something no human had ever faced before. Dr. Lisa Parker ran into the control room. Her lab coat was dirty and her hair was messy. She had been working for 18 hours straight, trying to understand the signals coming from space. "Admiral, you need to hear this," she said. She was breathing hard from running. "What is it, Doctor?" Lisa pushed buttons on a small device. Strange sounds came out. It sounded like metal scraping against stone, mixed with deep growls. Then a voice spoke in broken English. The words were clear but wrong, like a child learning to talk. "People of Third Rock from Star, we are Zephyrian Empire. You will give us your world. Fighting will bring death to all. You have 1 day to answer." The room became very quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Some people looked scared. Others looked angry. Jake felt both scared and angry at the same time. "How did they learn our language?" asked Captain Ben Harris. He had just arrived from the landing bay. His spacesuit was still wet with sweat. "They probably listened to our radio signals," Lisa said. "TV shows, news reports, everything we send into space. They had time to study us while they traveled here." "How long have they been watching us?" Jake asked. "Could be years. Could be decades. There's no way to know." President Collins appeared on the big screen. She looked tired and worried. Behind her, Jake could see important people running around and talking on phones. "Admiral Morrison, what's our situation?" "Not good, Madam President. We're looking at the largest invasion force in human history. Their technology appears to be far beyond ours. Each of their smallest ships could probably destroy our largest battleship. What are our options?" Jake looked around the room. Every person there was looking at him. These were good people, smart people, brave people. But they were also scared. "People, we fight," he said. "We may not win, but we fight." "Admiral," said a voice from the communication station, "we're getting more signals from the alien fleet." On the screen, a new image appeared. It was an alien creature. It had gray skin and 4 arms. Its head was long and narrow, like a snake. Its eyes were black and had no feeling in them. When it spoke, Jake could see sharp white teeth. "I am War Commander Krextol of the Zephyrian Empire. We have conquered 47 worlds. Your species will become our servants, or you will die. We give you 1 day to surrender. After that, we will take your world by force." The image disappeared. The room was quiet again. "Dr. Parker," Jake said, "I need you to learn everything you can about these aliens. How they think, how they fight, everything." "Yes, sir." "Captain Harris, I want you to take the Aurora and get as close to that fleet as you can. Stay hidden. Find out what their ships can do." "Understood, Admiral." Jake turned to look out the window at Earth. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and beautiful. White clouds moved slowly across the oceans. Somewhere down there, 7 billion people were living their normal lives. Most of them did not know that aliens had just arrived to destroy everything they loved. "Sir," said the communication officer, "all military bases on Earth are reporting ready for battle. The space stations are moving into position. Everyone wants to know what the plan is." Jake thought about his wife and daughter on Earth. He thought about all the people who would die if the aliens attacked. He thought about human history, all the wars and fights and struggles. Humans had always found a way to survive. They had always found a way to fight back. "Tell them we're going to do what humans do best," Jake said. "We're going to surprise these aliens. They think they know us from our TV shows and radio signals, but they don't know the most important thing about humans." "What's that, sir?" Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a soldier who was ready to fight. "They don't know that we never give up, and they don't know that we've been fighting each other for thousands of years. We know every dirty trick in the book." Outside the window, the first human ships began to launch from Earth. They looked very small compared to the alien fleet, but Jake knew that sometimes the smallest things could cause the biggest surprises. The war for Earth was about to begin. Captain Ben Harris moved through space like a ghost. His ship, the Aurora, was painted black and had special shields that made it hard to see. He was only 50 miles away from the alien fleet, but their sensors could not find him. He watched the enemy ships through his telescope and wrote down everything he saw. The alien ships moved in straight lines. They never changed direction. They never broke formation. It was like watching robots march in a parade. Ben had been a pilot for 15 years. He knew that good pilots changed direction all the time. They moved up and down and sideways. But these aliens only moved forward. "This is strange," Ben said into his radio. "Admiral, these aliens fight like they're still on the ground. They don't understand three-dimensional space combat." Back on Luna Station, Admiral Jake Morrison listened carefully. "What do you mean, Captain?" "They're treating space like a flat battlefield. All their ships are on the same level. They're not using the up and down directions. It's like they can't think in 3 dimensions." Dr. Lisa Parker was standing next to Jake. She had been studying the alien messages for 2 days. Her eyes were red from not sleeping. "That makes sense," she said. "If they evolved on a planet's surface, they might only think in 2 dimensions. Left, right, forward, backward. But not up and down." "Can we use that against them?" Jake asked. "Maybe. But we need more information about their weapons." On Earth, Colonel Amy Foster was very busy. She was in charge of Project Swarm, a secret plan that even the president did not know about. Amy had been planning for alien invasion for 10 years. Everyone thought she was crazy. Now they thought she was smart. Amy stood in a big underground room filled with computers and maps. Around her, hundreds of people worked on different parts of the plan. Some people were loading nuclear weapons onto civilian ships. Others were hiding weapons in asteroids. Still others were programming satellites to become bombs. "How many ships do we have ready?" Amy asked her assistant, Lieutenant Sam Walker. 2,000 civilian vessels have been armed. Most of them are cargo ships and passenger liners. They don't look like military ships, so the aliens might ignore them. Good. What about the nuclear submarines? All 12 submarines are ready to launch. The Russians and Chinese have also prepared their submarines. We have 40 submarines total. Amy smiled. The aliens probably expected humans to fight in space, like they did with big ships in straight lines. They would not expect submarines to attack from below. In space, there was no real up or down, but humans could pretend there was. Engineer Paul Martinez was working in the biggest shipyard above Earth. He had not slept in 3 days. His job was to turn normal spaceships into weapons. He was very good at his job. "Paul, how's the work going?" asked his friend Dr. Kate Johnson over the radio. "We've armed 300 ships so far. Cargo ships, tourist ships, even garbage ships. Anything that can fly in space now has weapons." Paul looked tired, but happy. The aliens won't know what hit them. Kate was working on something different. She was a military scientist who studied how to fight in space. She had read every book about every war in human history. She knew that humans were very good at surprising their enemies. Paul, remember what happened in Vietnam? Kate said. The Americans had better weapons and more soldiers. But the Vietnamese knew their own land. They used tunnels and traps and hit-and-run attacks. They won because they were smarter, not stronger. So we become the Vietnamese of space. Exactly. We use everything we know about guerrilla warfare. We make space itself our ally. Meanwhile, the alien fleet continued moving toward Earth. War Commander Krextyle stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was 8 feet tall, with gray skin and 4 muscular arms. His black eyes showed no emotion. He had conquered 47 worlds. Earth would be number 48. Status report, Krextyle said to his second-in-command. We will reach the 4th planet in 6 days, War Commander. Our scouts report that the humans have launched many small ships. They appear to be running away. Krextyle made a sound like laughing, but it was not friendly. Of course they run. All weak species run when they see our fleet. Have any of their ships attacked us? No, War Commander. They keep their distance. Some appear to be watching us, but they do not attack. Good. They know they cannot win. When we reach their world, they will surrender without a fight. But Krextyle was wrong. The humans were not running away. They were getting ready. Back on Luna Station, Jake was meeting with military leaders from all over Earth. The meeting was happening on video screens because there was no time to travel. Jake could see generals and admirals from America, Russia, China, Europe, and every other country on Earth. The plan is simple, Jake said. We let them think we're weak. We let them think we're scared. We let them chase our ships toward Mars. But we'll be ready for them. What if they don't follow our ships? Asked General Robert Kim from South Korea. They will, said Dr. Parker. I've been studying their communications. They're very proud. They think they're the best warriors in the galaxy. They won't be able to resist chasing what they think are fleeing humans. How do we know this will work? Asked Admiral Maria Santos from Brazil. Jake looked at all the faces on the screens. These were the best military minds on Earth. They had fought wars against each other for thousands of years. Now they were all working together for the first time in human history. Because we're human, Jake said. We've been fighting each other since we learned to make weapons. We know every trick, every trap, every way to win against a stronger enemy. These aliens have never fought anyone like us. In space, Captain Harris was still watching the alien fleet. He saw something that made him smile. The aliens were doing exactly what the humans wanted them to do. They were following the human ships that appeared to be running away. Admiral Harris said into his radio, "The fish are taking the bait. They're following our ships exactly like we planned. They're heading straight for the asteroid belt." "Perfect," Jake replied. "Stay with them, Captain, but don't get too close. We need you alive for the next part of the plan." As the alien fleet moved deeper into the solar system, they passed the hidden human submarines. The submarines stayed quiet and invisible. They would attack when the time was right. On Earth, millions of people watched the news. They knew that aliens were coming to destroy their world, but they also knew that their military was ready to fight. Humans had always been fighters. They would not give up their planet without a battle. The trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the aliens to walk into it. The battle began near Jupiter's largest moon. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Defiance. Around him, 200 human ships waited in formation. They looked small and weak compared to the alien fleet approaching them. That was exactly what Jake wanted. "All ships, remember the plan," Jake said into his communication device. "Make it look real. Fire at them, but don't hit anything important. We want them angry, not worried." The alien ships came forward like a metal wall. Their weapons were bright, blue beams that could cut through human ships like knives through paper. When they fired, 3 human ships exploded immediately. The explosions were real. The deaths were real. But it was all part of the plan. "Return fire," Jake shouted. The human ships fired back with everything they had. Missiles and laser beams hit the alien ships, but did very little damage. The alien shields were too strong. War Commander Krextol watched the battle from his command ship. Everything was going as expected. The humans were fighting, but they were losing badly. Their weapons were weak. Their ships were slow. This would be easy. "Sir," said his assistant, "the human ships are retreating toward the 4th planet." "Of course they are," Krextol said. "Follow them. Destroy any ship that falls behind. Show them that running is useless." But Captain Ben Harris was not retreating. He was working. While the main battle happened above, he and his team were busy with the real plan. They moved quietly through Jupiter's moons, placing nuclear bombs in exactly the right places. Each bomb was hidden inside a piece of space rock that looked natural. "Package number 20 is in place," Ben said into his radio. His voice was calm, but sweat was running down his face. If the aliens found him now, he would be dead in seconds. "Good work, Captain," replied Colonel Amy Foster from her secret command center. "Move to the next position. We need all 50 packages in place before the aliens get to the asteroid belt." Amy was watching everything on her computer screens. She could see the fake battle near Jupiter. She could see the alien ships chasing the retreating humans. She could see her hidden submarines waiting in the darkness of space. Everything was going according to plan, but plans could go wrong very quickly. "Colonel," shouted Lieutenant Sam Walker, "one of the alien ships is breaking away from the main fleet. It's heading toward Captain Harris." Amy's heart started beating fast. If they caught Ben, the whole plan would fail. The aliens would learn that humans were setting traps. They would be more careful. The surprise would be lost. "Ben, you have company coming," Amy said into her radio. "One alien ship, moving fast, toward your position." Ben looked at his sensors. The alien ship was only 10 minutes away. He still had 5 more bombs to place. "I can't leave yet. The plan won't work without all the bombs. Ben, get out of there now. That's an order." "Sorry, Colonel, I can't hear you. My radio must be broken." Ben smiled as he said this. His radio was working perfectly. But he was not going to abandon the mission. Ben worked faster than he had ever worked before. He grabbed the nuclear bombs and threw them toward the moons of Jupiter. He did not have time to place them carefully. He just had to hope they would be close enough to work. The alien ship appeared behind him like a metal shark. It was black and silver and covered with weapons. Ben could see it getting bigger on his screen. In 2 minutes, it would be close enough to destroy him. "Package 50. In place," Ben said. "Amy, blow them when you're ready. I'm getting out of here." Ben pushed his engines to maximum power. His small ship shot forward like a bullet. Behind him, the alien ship fired its weapons. Blue beams of energy flew past Ben's ship, missing by only a few feet. Come on, Ben said to his ship. "Don't fail me now." The alien ship was faster, but Ben knew how to fly in 3 dimensions. He went up, then down, then sideways. The alien pilot could not keep up with his movements. After 10 minutes of chasing, the alien ship gave up and returned to the main fleet. Meanwhile, the fake retreat continued. Commander Rick Stone led a group of human ships away from Jupiter toward Mars. The ships fired their engines and moved as fast as they could. Some ships pretended to have engine problems and fell behind. When they did, the aliens destroyed them without mercy. "This is harder than I thought," Rick said to his crew. "Watching our people die, even though we know it's necessary. It will be worth it, sir," said his pilot, Lieutenant Nancy Davis. "When we spring the trap, They'll pay for every human life they've taken. Dr. Lisa Parker was still working on understanding the alien language. She had discovered something important. The aliens had never fought an enemy that used tricks and lies in all their battles. Both sides fought honestly and directly. They did not understand the human concept of deception. Admiral Lisa said to Jake over the radio, "I've been listening to their communications. They really believe we're running away in panic. They think we're cowards. They have no idea this is a trap." "Perfect," Jake replied. "How long until they reach the asteroid belt?" 18 hours. And our submarines, all in position. The aliens will pass right through them without knowing they're there." The asteroid belt was a field of rocks floating in space between Mars and Jupiter. Most of the rocks were small, but some were as big as mountains. It was the perfect place for an ambush. Humans had been hiding weapons and ships among the asteroids for weeks. Lieutenant Commander Sandy Wells commanded a squadron of small fighter ships. They were hidden inside a large asteroid that had been hollowed out like a cave. Sandy and her pilots had been waiting for 3 days, eating cold food and breathing recycled air. "Remember, people," Sandy said to her squadron, "when the shooting starts, we hit them fast and hard, then disappear. Don't try to be heroes. Hit and run, just like we practiced." "What if they chase us?" asked pilot Jerry Brown. "Then we lead them into the next trap." The whole asteroid belt is full of surprises. As the alien fleet approached the asteroid belt, War Commander Krextel was feeling confident. The humans had lost 50 ships in the battle near Jupiter. Their remaining ships were running away in fear. Soon, he would reach their home planet and claim his 48th victory. "Sir," said his navigation officer, "we're approaching the asteroid field. Should we go around it?" "No," Krextal said. "We go through it. I want to catch those fleeing humans before they reach their planet. Going around would take too long." The navigation officer looked worried. "Sir, asteroid fields can be dangerous. There could be rocks we don't see. Our sensors are the best in the galaxy. We will see any dangerous rocks. Besides, these humans are too primitive to use asteroids as weapons." Krextal was about to learn that he was very, very wrong. The alien fleet entered the asteroid belt in perfect formation. They moved slowly and carefully, watching for large rocks that might damage their ships. Their sensors were indeed very good. They could see every asteroid bigger than a car, but they could not see the submarines hiding behind the asteroids. They could not see the nuclear bombs hidden inside innocent-looking rocks. They could not see the thousands of human fighters waiting in the darkness. Admiral Jake Morrison watched the alien fleet move into his trap. In 1 hour, the battle would begin. In 1 hour, the aliens would discover what humans were really capable of. "All units, prepare for Operation Asteroid Storm," Jake said. "In 60 minutes, we show these aliens why you should never underestimate the human race." The asteroid belt exploded into 1,000 pieces of death. Colonel Amy Foster pressed the button that changed everything. "All units, execute Asteroid Storm. Now, now, now." The nuclear bombs hidden inside the asteroids went off all at the same time. Giant rocks that had been floating peacefully in space for millions of years suddenly became weapons of war. The explosions turned each asteroid into thousands of pieces of stone and metal, flying in every direction. War Commander Krextel felt his ship shake like it was in an earthquake. "What's happening?" he shouted to his crew. "The asteroids are exploding, sir. They're firing rocks at us like bullets from a gun." Krextel could not believe what he was seeing. On his screen, he watched as huge chunks of rock smashed into his ships. The Zephyrian shields were strong against energy weapons, but they were not made to stop physical objects moving at incredible speed. "How are they doing this?" Krextel demanded. "Asteroids don't just explode." "Sir, our sensors show nuclear explosions inside the rocks. The humans put bombs in them." For the first time in his military career, Crextel felt afraid. No enemy had ever used the environment itself as a weapon. How could anyone fight against the rocks and stones of space? All ships, emergency, evasive action. Get us out of this asteroid field. But it was too late. The human submarines appeared from behind the larger asteroids like sharks coming out of deep water. They fired nuclear torpedoes at the alien ships from every direction. The aliens had been looking forward for enemies, not up and down and sideways. Captain Tony Garcia commanded. The submarine shark. He had been hiding behind a mountain-sized asteroid for 2 days, waiting for this moment. Fire all torpedoes, he shouted. Give them everything we've got. 6 nuclear torpedoes shot out from the shark toward the alien fleet. Each torpedo was painted black to be invisible against space. The aliens did not see them coming until it was too late. The first torpedo hit an alien cruiser in the middle section. The ship broke in half like a stick. The second torpedo destroyed a weapons platform. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth torpedoes all found their targets. In 30 seconds, Captain Garcia had destroyed 6 alien ships. Reload and fire again, Garcia ordered. Don't give them time to think. All around the asteroid belt, the same thing was happening. 40 human submarines were firing from hidden positions. The aliens tried to fight back, but they could not see their enemies. The submarines would fire, then disappear behind asteroids, then appear somewhere else and fire again. Lieutenant Commander Sandy Wells led her fighter squadron out of their hidden cave. 20 small, fast ships shot out of the asteroid and attacked the alien fleet from above. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Hit the big one, Sandy shouted, pointing at an alien battleship. Take out their command center. Her fighters moved like angry bees around a bear. They were too small and fast for the big alien weapons to hit. The alien ships tried to swat them like flies, but the human pilots were too good. They had trained for this their whole lives. Pilot Jerry Brown flew his fighter straight at an alien weapon tower. At the last second, he fired all his missiles and pulled away. The tower exploded in a ball of fire. That's for Earth, he shouted. But the human fighters were not the only surprise. As the alien fleet tried to escape the asteroid field, they ran into another trap. Hundreds of civilian ships that had been pretending to run away suddenly turned around and attacked. Engineer Paul Martinez was commanding a converted garbage ship called the Cleanup. It looked like a harmless waste disposal vehicle, but Paul had filled it with nuclear bombs. This is for calling us primitive, he said, as he flew the ship straight at an alien destroyer. The aliens fired at the garbage ship, but Paul had covered it with armor from old battleships. The alien beams could not stop him. At the last second, Paul escaped in a small pod while his ship crashed into the alien destroyer. The explosion was so big it damaged 3 other alien ships. Dr. Kate Johnson was watching the battle from her command ship. She was using everything humans had learned about warfare in their long history. Remember, people, this is guerrilla warfare in space. Hit them hard, then disappear. Make them afraid to move. The alien formation was falling apart. Ships that had been moving in perfect lines were now scattered across the asteroid belt. Some were trying to escape. Others were trying to fight. Most were just trying to survive. War Commander Crextile realized that his fleet was being destroyed by an enemy he did not understand. The humans were not fighting like soldiers. They were fighting like criminals and pirates. They used tricks and lies and surprise attacks. This was not honorable combat. All ships, fall back to attack Formation 7, Crextile ordered. We will destroy these cowards with overwhelming firepower. But attack Formation 7 required ships to be in straight lines. The humans would not let the aliens get organized. Every time the aliens tried to form up, human ships would attack from unexpected directions. Captain Ben Harris had returned to the battle in a new ship. He led a group of stealth fighters against the alien command vessel. If we can take out their leader, The rest might give up, he said to his squadron. Ben's ships approached the alien flagship from below, where their sensors were weakest. They got within a mile of the huge ship before the aliens noticed them. Then they fired everything they had at the ship's command center. The alien flagship shook under the attack. Lights went out. Explosions echoed through the corridors. But the ship was too big and too strong to be destroyed by a few small fighters. "Sir," said Ben's wingman, "we're not doing enough damage. That ship is too tough." Ben looked at his fuel gauge. He had enough power for one more attack. "Cover me. I'm going to try something crazy." Ben flew his ship directly at the alien flagship's main weapon. It was a huge energy cannon that could destroy a city. If he could damage it, the ship would be much less dangerous. The aliens saw him coming and fired everything they had at his small ship. Energy beams flew all around him like deadly lightning. Ben flew through the storm of weapons fire and crashed his ship into the energy cannon. The explosion was huge. The alien flagship's main weapon was destroyed. The ship was still alive, but it could not fight as well. "Ben," shouted Captain Harris into his radio. "Ben, are you there?" There was no answer. Ben Harris had given his life to hurt the enemy. All across the asteroid belt, the battle was turning in humanity's favor. The alien fleet had started with 500 ships. Now they had less than 100. The others had been destroyed, or damaged so badly they could not fight. But the aliens were learning. War Commander Krextel was a good soldier, even if he did not understand human tactics. He began to adapt his strategy. All remaining ships, form defensive circle. Concentrate our firepower. We will make them come to us. The surviving alien ships moved into a tight formation. They pointed their weapons outward in every direction. It was a good defensive position, but Admiral Jake Morrison had been expecting this. "Phase 2, Jake said into his communicator. "Bring in the heavy weapons. It's time to finish this." From the outer edges of the solar system, the real human fleet began to move. These were not converted civilian ships or small fighters. These were humanity's secret weapons, built in hidden shipyards over the past 10 years. The final battle was about to begin. Admiral Jake Morrison looked at the battle screen and smiled. The alien fleet was trapped in the space between Mars and the asteroid belt. They had formed a defensive circle with their remaining 90 ships, but they did not know what was coming next. "All hidden stations, reveal yourselves," Jake commanded. "Time to show them our real power." Across the solar system, objects that had looked like space junk suddenly came to life. Old satellites grew weapons. Broken space stations turned on engines and shields. Pieces of metal that had been floating dead in space for years suddenly started moving toward the alien fleet. War Commander Krextel watched in horror as his sensors picked up hundreds of new contacts. "Where did they all come from?" he asked his crew. "Sir, they were hiding among the debris. Our sensors thought they were just space garbage. How many humans are there?" Krextal was beginning to understand that he had made a terrible mistake. These humans were not primitive. They were the most dangerous enemy he had ever faced. The first wave of hidden stations attacked from every direction at once. These were not small fighter ships. These were massive weapons platforms that had been disguised as space junk. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a small city. Commander Lisa Wright controlled one of the hidden stations. It looked like a broken communications satellite, but inside it was a giant railgun that could fire metal slugs at incredible speed. "Target the alien flagship," she said to her crew. "Let's give their commander something to think about." The railgun fired, with a sound like thunder. A piece of metal the size of a car shot across space and hit the alien flagship. The impact was so powerful it pushed the huge ship backward. The alien shields flickered and almost failed. "Direct hit," Lisa shouted. "Reload and fire again." But the humans were just getting started. Captain Danny Kim commanded a space station that had been pretending to be a fuel depot. "Deploy the surprise," he ordered. The station opened like a flower, revealing dozens of missile launchers hidden inside. Hundreds of nuclear missiles shot out toward the alien fleet. Each missile had been programmed to attack a different target. The aliens tried to shoot down the missiles, but there were too many. The sky filled with explosions as nuclear warheads found their targets. 20 alien ships were destroyed in the first minute. War Commander Krextyle realized that his fleet was doomed. "All ships, prepare to retreat. We will return to space and bring a larger fleet." But Admiral Morrison had expected this too. "Captain Harris, execute Operation Door Slam." Captain Ben Harris had survived his crash into the alien flagship. He had escaped in an emergency pod and been picked up by a rescue ship. Now he was commanding a new mission from a hidden base near Pluto. "All units, activate the gravity mines," Harris said. Throughout the outer solar system, hidden devices turned on. They created artificial gravity fields that grabbed onto any ship trying to leave. The aliens found that their engines could not push them fast enough to escape. "We're trapped." The alien navigation officer reported to Krextyle, "Something is holding us here. Impossible. Nothing can trap a Zephyrian fleet in open space. Sir, whatever they're using is affecting our faster-than-light engines. We cannot jump to hyperspace." Dr. Lisa Parker spoke to the alien fleet from Luna Station. She had learned their language perfectly. "War Commander Krextyle, this is Dr. Lisa Parker of Earth. Your fleet is surrounded. Your escape routes are blocked. Surrender now and we will spare your lives." Krextyle was shocked to hear his own language spoken by a human. "How do you know our speech? We've been listening to you since you arrived. We know everything about you. We know you have conquered 47 worlds. We know you think we are weak and primitive. You were wrong. You cannot defeat the Zephyrian Empire. We will send more fleets. We will bring 1,000 ships." Lisa's voice was calm but firm. "No, you won't. After today, your empire will know what happened here. They will know that Earth is protected by humans. And humans don't just defend, we attack." Admiral Morrison took over the communication. "War Commander, you have two choices. Surrender your remaining ships, or we will destroy them all. You have 5 minutes to decide." Krextyle looked around his bridge. His crew was scared. Many of them were wounded. His great fleet of 500 ships was now only 30 ships. The humans had used tactics he had never seen before. They had turned everything into weapons: asteroids, garbage ships, broken satellites, even space itself. "Sir," said his second-in-command, "perhaps we should consider surrender. These humans fight like nothing we have ever encountered." "No," Krextyle roared. "The Zephyrian Empire does not surrender." But even as he said it, Krextyle knew it was over. His ships were surrounded by enemies that appeared from nowhere. His weapons were running out of power. His shields were failing. The final attack came from all directions at once. Human ships, stations, submarines, and converted civilian vessels fired everything they had at the remaining alien fleet. The space around Mars lit up like a new sun as explosions filled the darkness. When the light faded, only 5 alien ships were left. They were badly damaged and drifting helplessly in space. "This is Admiral Morrison to all surviving alien vessels. You are now prisoners of war. Prepare to be boarded." War Commander Krextyle sat in his command chair and stared at the screen. In 6 hours, he had lost the greatest fleet in Zephyrian history. He had been defeated by a species that was supposed to be primitive and weak. "How?" he asked the empty air. "How did they do this?" Dr. Parker answered him over the radio. "Because we're human, Commander. We've been fighting each other for 10,000 years. We know every way to win a war. You conquered 47 worlds, but you always fought the same way. You used overwhelming force against weaker enemies. You never learned to adapt. But we had better technology, better weapons, larger ships. Technology doesn't win wars, Commander. People win wars, and humans are very good at war. As human ships moved in to capture the surviving aliens, War Commander Krextile sent one final message to the Zephyrian Empire. Do not come to this system. Do not attack these humans. They are not what they appear to be. They fight like the void itself has gained intelligence. They turn everything into weapons. They use tricks and lies and surprise attacks. They fight without honor, but they fight to win. The message traveled faster than light toward the home world. It would take months to arrive, but when it did, it would change everything. The Zephyrian Empire would learn that there was a species in the galaxy that could not be conquered, on Earth. 7 billion people watched the news and cheered. The alien invasion had been stopped. Not only stopped, but completely destroyed. Humanity had won its first interstellar war. Admiral Morrison stood on Luna Station and looked out at Earth. The blue and green planet was safe. The alien threat was over. But he knew this was just the beginning. Dr. Parker, he said, start learning everything you can from those alien prisoners. Their technology, their star maps, everything. Are we planning to visit their homeworld? Lisa asked. Jake smiled. It was the same smile he had worn when the aliens first arrived, but now it was a happy smile instead of a grim one. Doctor, these aliens came here to conquer us. They destroyed our ships and killed our people. Did they really think we would just forget about that? What are you saying, Admiral? I'm saying that humans don't just defend their homes. When someone attacks us, we attack back. The Zephyrian Empire is about to learn what happens when you make humanity angry. In the months that followed, human scientists studied the captured alien technology. They learned how to build faster-than-light engines. They learned how to make better weapons and shields. They learned the locations of other alien worlds. But most importantly, they learned that humans were not alone in the galaxy. There were other species out there. Some might be friendly. Others might be hostile. Either way, humanity would be ready for them. The fleet that invaded Earth had been wiped out before reaching Mars, but the war between humans and aliens was just beginning. And the galaxy was about to discover that when humans went to war, they fought to win. The age of human expansion into space had begun.